Welcome to Podcast This Escape, the podcast where we talk about the escape room we escaped from in the previous episode of this podcast. Jon, Viv, congratulations, you did it!
Thank you. What fun.
Oh yeah, you did great. It was lovely to listen along as you solved your way through a million little puzzles.
We did fine. But thanks.
You did great.
With absolutely no help whatsoever.
We were very average.
I was conscious of time. If we weren't and you had said, no, we got nothing on for the rest of the day, I would have left it because you were doing great.
Yeah, you would have.
That's the only reason.
I don't think there was anything in this room that you were in danger of not being able to solve.
Yeah,
No,
I think there was a
certainly
few kind of connective points where it was trying to figure out what went with what. But I thought we did all right.
Yeah.
I'd give us a 3 out of 5.
I thought you
least.
did great. I was worried at the start. The first thing you went to is the poster, which is kind of like a keystone puzzle of all of this that has loads of elements to it. And I was really worried, just going, oh no, I have to steer them away from this puzzle. I don't think it's solvable on its own, but
we definitely wouldn't.
But just in case.
Yeah. You did not need to worry. We were nowhere near.
No danger.
When you looked at it right away and you said, oh, that's curiosity. Oh, that's pain. Gotcha. I just went, oh my God.
Yeah, I can understand the feeling as a puzzle designer of worrying, but there was literally no danger of us putting it together.
And also, we wouldn't have known what to do with it anyway, so
That's true.
probably would have forgotten half of it.
Yeah, the absolute
Moved
worst
on.
case is you solve every line by automatically knowing how to fill in letters to make them seem like emotions, and then you go, all right, well, I guess there's nothing there. We'll move on.
Yeah.
What do we do with that? Did we arrest Emily, by the way, at the end?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In spectacular fashion.
Great.
Right.
You found your wedding ring, got it
Oh,
back.
thank God. Yeah.
Yeah, she'd swallowed it. It was a weird choice.
Oh, man. Emily sucks. Emily Hurley as a person
Emily's
sucks.
even worse than her sister.
Yeah. Patreon backer, Emily
Patreon backer
Hurley.
Emily
sucks.
Hurley in real life.
And
Sucks.
Patreon backer Kaylee.
ass.
Also, welcome.
Is Kaylee a backer as well?
Yep. That's
Oh.
Kaylee,
The worst.
arguably even worse.
Arguably
than
the
me.
worst. Look, we always, whenever we have NPCs in the room, we name them after patrons. We never guarantee that they won't be a terrible person.
I
They
assume
often
it's
are.
what they want.
It's much funnier to be a terrible
yeah.
person.
Yeah, I think the nicest person who's been an NPC in our rooms was
Someone
an
was a
angry
horse once.
Great.
No, I really like this. Obviously, before I say that I really like this, I play tested this room. I helped out a little bit with some fixes at the end, but this is all Danny, as all of our rooms are.
The puzzle, the poster and the music were broken when
Yes, it was broken
when I brought
originally.
them.
So you could jump. There was one of the solutions was Dread, and then you're like, well, Dread's the only emotion on this list of music. I'll just play the Dread one. I don't need to solve half the room.
I very nearly played 6 because it was on the. It was the.
I
number
never
on
thought
the-
of that. Thank
Yeah.
you. I should
Yeah.
change the song order because you're absolutely right. I didn't
I
notice
think,
that they were
yeah,
the same
the
because
bit of
those
a-
locker
Any-
numbers are so arbitrary.
Because if you mash those numbers into
Yep.
another puzzle, you might just stumble across the solution.
And that's like a classic thing when you're doing design like this. And given that you've done this type of design before, you've probably had it yourself where you come up with these things and then someone will go, wait a minute, 4 of them? There were 4 of these things.
Yeah.
20, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize there were 4 of those things.
Yeah.
How dare, letters, there were letters on this. Oh, no.
Yeah, often it can be a real issue for the players though, because if you solve a puzzle out of order, you don't necessarily know you've done that, and you're like, right, well, we've got to do something
Absolutely.
with these. We've got to do something with this music because we did that 6, but that was just random. So maybe there's this, and they can get stuck for ages on that.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's why we can rely on slightly less playtesting because we still have this format where I'm here. I can do gentle guiding and
it's really
Bill
nice
is here
have
to do
that.
editing if anything goes horribly wrong and I have to say, hey, sorry, can you not do that? I didn't notice I screwed up, guys.
And especially because people are only playing these games once, so you can't lose your mind making it perfect each time. Given A, you're guiding them through it, and B, it's a one-time game.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So recently we were working on a video game. We were part of the writing and development team for Rise of the Golden Idol. I don't know if you played the Golden Idol games.
What?
Yeah. So
Are you kidding me?
No, yeah. So we were part of the group that wrote the sequel.
I love both
Was
of
this
those
the one
games.
that you were really obsessed with?
I was really obsessed with the
They're
first one.
great
I was
games.
pretty obsessed with the second one. They're
Yeah,
both
so
great.
The first one, yeah, we played it as well and went, this is really lovely. And we saw they were hiring writers, and then we were like, all right, we'll get on and write for the
Murder
sequel.
mystery puzzles. This is our bag.
Which
It's been a very different process in terms of creating and playtesting and that sort of thing.
For us, like, these are so robust to player interaction. Like, if people get the wrong idea, we say, hey, excuse me, could you please have the right idea? Because we're here running the experience. And when you have to just put it out in the world and be like, let's playtest this to see if people playing it on their Switch in Utah can play it. And I'm so far away and I can't talk to them. And it's so much more rigorous and so much more like, okay, I have to change this and change this and change this and get it perfect. And it's kind of nice to have that freedom coming back to doing these, to be like, it's good. It is good enough for the experience. Like, and it makes
you get
it
to
so
be a
much
bit
easier
more like quick and dirty with this,
exactly,
rather than like.
And obviously, we want to give you the most robust situation, fun as possible.
We have the joy of the format that makes things like that easier.
But a lot of the work we make has someone in the room to guide people through, and it just makes everything, just gives you more leeway, right?
Yes, very smooth. You don't have to worry that people didn't read the instructions right or didn't understand this thing that you thought they would have understood. It's very nice.
So sorry, we're going to have to talk about Golden Idol.
We can talk as much about Golden Idol if you like.
Sorry, I know this may not be very interesting for you, Bodge. What was your role in it? Did you say you were doing writing and puzzle design?
Yeah. So it's basically we had the main gist of it was each little sort of group or pair or however we were organized had certain ones of the scenarios that we were largely in charge of doing the creation.
Yeah, it's quite a small studio. So it was, we were part of the full, like we were involved in helping do narrative design for the whole thing. Obviously, the two brothers who made the first game had the main thrust of what they wanted, but as a group, we would kind of give input and change. Like a lot of these characters. It's very funny to see characters just like appear in that game and be super relevant. Like Eugene Marmot, very important character.
We just invented him.
We were just like,
that was you?
We were told, we need in this scene, all the thing that we needed was, a researcher needs to
catch on fire.
Be on fire. And as long as that happens, like the rest will sort of tie into the story. We're like, great, we'll make a guy, we'll call him Eugene, we'll do this and the other. And then that's
Eugene
now a major
sucks.
character. Yeah, he sucks, he's great.
So much.
You've just seen how well we make characters that you hate.
I love characters.
But so there was that collaborative thing across everybody. And then once you sort of knew the beats that were in each scene, there were a few of, so that we were pretty much working as a team. The original game designers were working as a team. There were 2 people in Utah working as a team. There was a British guy, all fantastic, interesting, smart people. And basically you'd sit there and you go, all right, well, we know the beats that need to be hit. You go design this scenario. You go design this scenario. And because it's a small team, that meant we were writing it, putting everything into the engine. A lot of people play tested it with hand-drawn art that we made on like an iPad to be like, this is what the character looks like. And this is, so we have a lot of like my original sketch of characters in each of the scenes being like, and then before you get to the artist, be like, hey, this person who's like a stick figure with a pirate hat, make him a person with a pirate hat. And so it was a lot of fun, but it was very, very full on, like
very different experience from making these.
Needing to figure out how to work in Godot and how to do all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, are you going to be working on the DLC?
We kind of took creative
the first DLC is largely ours.
Of the first DLC.
What?
And then each of the other sort of people
they're doing 4, right?
DLC.
Yeah,
4
so
DLC.
each of the 2 little teams gets one.
Amazing.
Obviously, still with a lot of it. It's their game, so it's still a lot of creative input from them, which is also a weird place to be. Of like, on the podcast, it's like if we have an idea that we like,
we get to let through whatever stupid stuff we want.
And then when you work collaboratively,
like new face in a packet
with other people, there's a lot of like, I have a cool idea, and they say, yeah, no, let's not do that. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll come up with another one. And it's like it was odd having working with them was very nice. They're very collaborative and very interesting to work with. But it was just a different experience to have creative bosses for the first time.
And I'm sure they had no idea how big the first game is going to be, right? It was just came out of nowhere. It's this huge smash hit, and suddenly they're like, right, you've got to make tons more of these.
Yeah.
The original turnaround was
pretty quick,
like a year to make this the main content for the second game.
Yeah, I was listening to an interview with, I guess, the brothers, and they were just like, we don't want to make these games anymore. We made so many in such a short space of time. But they're really
and
good.
You know what? Sometimes a story is finished, and it's good to be able to acknowledge that and move on to something else.
They are a lovely experience. One of the designers that we were working with just is also working on a game in the same style. So after he's now finished working on this, he's doing a separate. I can't remember the name of it. Sorry, but he's just announced on Steam that he's doing a sort of a Golden Idol like himself afterwards. it was a really fun experience working on that.
Yeah,
It was really great.
But back to your experiences. Was there anything that made you feel smart?
Yeah, how did you enjoy? What part of this room did you enjoy the most?
I have some nominations
feel smart?
if you can't find
Why don't you go, Gorge? I've talked a lot about Golden Idol.
I gotta say, I really enjoyed, even though it was pretty obvious, realizing that the cranberry juice was in the poppers.
That was great.
No, it's a lovely
The
moment.
silly little practical things are often so much fun and so satisfying. Like one of my proud moments for both of you was just how willing you were to get in there and sniff things.
Yeah.
And I think
exactly what you needed.
But I think that element of it, of like finding the cranberry juice and feeling good, I think this is a thing that happens a lot when people try and put like puzzles and things in an RPG. Like John, I'm not sure if it was in the edit or not, but you sort of asked us before we started, like, oh, if we come up with a cool solution, how much would you honor that? Would you be like, yeah, that seems right? And that can be a lot of fun, but there's also a specific joy in being like, does this work? No. Does this work? No. Oh, let me think. What about this one? Yes, you found it. That's the right one.
For sure.
Yes, I've done. Rather than being there's a joy to a no rather than a yes and. I think in a lot of this sort of stuff, because then when you get it, it's a real earned thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I do love having given myself no power.
Yeah.
As a
Sometimes
storyteller in this one.
yes and is too free, and then you never
Makes
earn
me panic.
anything.
Yeah, for sure. We built an escape room in Sydney in 2015 in Viv's mum's little studio flat just because we wanted to try it out. And it was literally like built for one weekend.
Yeah.
But
so she had like a little, like a studio in her garden, and people came and played it, and we were like watching from the house.
We literally had like a little laptop with Skype open on a
Yeah.
on like a video call as the
Oh
like
my
camera. It was
God.
super low budget. But on the note of the cranberry juice puzzle, this has really stuck with me. The puzzle that people got the most excited about was we just used all the furniture that was in the place already. So it had this little cabinet with a lock, small key that fit. And in the kitchen, we had a freezer. So we thought we can freeze this key in a little ice cube tray because it just fit in the ice cube tray. So it was literally just a key covered in water, frozen. And all they had to do was like melt the ice and get the key. But you could just see how excited they were because they got to like do something tangible and physical, and they could maybe run it under the tap, or they could like chuck it on the floor and break the ice. And it was like, none of these are hard, but they feel really exciting.
Yeah, 100%.
I remember that once, the only escape room that we've done in London, one of the things we had to do was take some gigantic like pipe sort of things and connect them from one end of the room to the other in the right coordination. And I felt great, and nothing has made me feel more like I was on Survivor than having to quickly do that. Yeah, escape rooms being able to give you that is great.
Yeah, and I think that's what the cranberry juice puzzle felt like, was like, this is something tangible and practical, that it's more of a like point and click adventure puzzle, and it's like use thing that melts mud with mud.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, use mud melter on mud.
Yeah, with a few layers removed or added to that. But yeah, that was probably my favorite moment because it felt really satisfying to do.
Nice.
Yeah. I think you guys, I very much enjoyed you getting to the anticipation plus pain being dread on that list and realizing like, what is anticipation plus pain? Because it was interesting. When you did that poster, you solved the ones that you needed without, doing all the sort of extraneous ones. But there's a little bit, I think, if you do all the extraneous ones, you sort of get that there is this pattern, which is a bit harder to see when you've only done a few. So, if we go through the list, you were right with imagination as being orange. So, like the third line, imagination plus hope is anticipation. If you imagine while you're hoping, that's anticipation. So, the curiosity one that was like your first one that you saw.
It was a Googled list of combination emotions.
But like you saw curiosity,
together, which is why,
which is trust plus surprise.
I don't know why trust plus surprise is curiosity, but apparently it is.
And imagination plus sadness is regret.
Yep.
Anger plus sadness is pain. Or the dark side, I think. The really tough word, INC,
instinct.
Oh, that is
my
tough.
God, I would never have got that.
Right?
instinct
That's
plus
fine.
happiness.
That's why I put it up the top to try to scare people, to
Well,
scare
do you remember
you
what
off
that one
trying
was?
to
Instinct-
happiness.
Sorry, instinct plus happiness is
Enthusiasm.
enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Oh my
Instinct
God.
plus
Hesitation
is fear.
Yeah.
But there is, if you solve for all of them, you get that feeling of, oh, I'm describing that final emotion
Yes.
with my constituent emotions.
Got it.
So when I get anticipation and pain, like, what does that get to? And the only one on that list that makes sense is regret. Oh, sorry, is dread,
see.
not
Dread.
regret. That
Yeah.
wouldn't help. Is dread.
One thing that I would like to talk about, which Billy, you did this in the playtest.
Ooh, do they do it in this?
Yes.
Oh, good. We're a team.
You all decided that the best thing to do was soak Kaylee. She must be Emily in disguise.
Oh, yeah, of course
To
she
the
is.
point where in the playtest I went, that's fun. Should I change it so that's true?
And I said no. I said you shouldn't.
So that's all on it, but also a little bit, that would require a lot more explanation of the plot holes like the camera footage and things like that.
Yeah.
I think it's nice because your first thought is that, and you obviously wanted it because she's been goading you the whole time.
Mm.
But the fact that she gets you again is really fun. Like,
Mm.
oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm wrong again.
Yeah.
And it
And
makes
then
it
it makes
more
you-
of a threat.
Yeah,
This
and
was
it was
where we knew that Billy had to be the one acting.
yeah.
'cause,
I'm the most infuriating person we know. So of course I have to play Kaylee.
I think
Um,
removable lapels is the most annoying thing I've ever experienced.
Yeah, you try and grab him, you can't do it.
It's like, who is this absolute master thief? And the fact that it happened right under your nose at the start, she gets rid of everyone, and you kind of feel like I'm invading your space. I'm the threat here, but actually the villain has just walked right past you. It's really clever.
It's it's that lovely. I do like that twist at the end, that feeling of like, because you have a moment after it's not Kaylee where I had the same thing of like, but there's no one else. There's nobody else here. It had to be
Yeah.
Kaylee, and it's not. And remembering the intro, the classic trap of that happened an hour ago. I can't remember that.
That was the intro. We weren't even
Yeah.
drawing yet.
I didn't have my pens. I wasn't writing stuff down. I don't remember
Yeah.
that people
It's
left.
just
But when
flavor
you
text.
remember it, it's
So I was glad
That was
that you
really
did
nice.
remember.
I would say one. Sorry, go on.
Well, when it happened, I was like, oh, I wanted to ask, like, were the people coming out of the mudroom covered in mud? Because I was like, are they decoys in some way? Are they, like, I had it
had
sort
decoys
of very
on the brain.
distantly crossed my mind early on, but I
Oh,
completely forgot
nice.
about it.
I would have said one thing that would have been really satisfying at the end would be to have to figure out which one in the line was Emily.
That's the DLC to this
yeah,
room.
yeah.
I don't know if
You're
she'd
right,
have,
it would
like,
be nice
you'd,
if
you'd
there was,
figured
like-
out that she had an allergy to something or something that you would have to then like just one final. This is something we do with with history mysteries. Is there's always a final puzzle that's like the fun little bonus at the end where you've kind of finished the game, but then you use this one bit of quite easy information that you get to like essentially it's like a victory lap where you get
Yeah.
to like use wouldn't be on a peanut allergy. That's an insane thing to do. But like, imagine a less incredibly toxic version of that, where it's like you just do the thing, or like she's really ticklish, and you go down the line with a feather or something.
Yeah, you've found some things maybe in that recording of what she
Yeah.
says about herself.
She
or things
gives
like,
away one fact. that you use.
little facts. And you're like, haha, she only wears pink cardigans and nothing else.
Yeah.
But her clothes are in a bucket. But that sort of thing.
There could be something to think about there. As, little bonus end material,
Yeah, it's
should you
interesting.
want it.
Because I felt a really strong attachment to catching her, which you've done all this work, and it'd be really nice to have a moment where it's like, you'll never catch me. Then she hides, and then you catch her.
Yeah. And I suppose in this case, like the version of that is she gets away with her face, and you go, haha, there's still time. The ferry hasn't left. We got the bucket. We're gonna get her. So there's sort of like. There's always like a level of where that goes.
There is the element of where do you end up, because I think we do know what happened, and it just ends up being how much is going to be entertaining, especially like for visualizing the story. Yes, keeping it going, you can get the satisfaction out of it. I'm very conscious of me sitting here talking for too long.
That's also
you,
true.
you do a great job. You don't need to be
adding
conscious of
work.
that at all.
There just ends up coming a point where I want the narration to end, and
Sure.
that's why I said I hope that you end it with a big sound effect at least,
Nice.
because that feels satisfying in its own way.
I
No,
thought
put the
at
wrong
point-
one.
I thought at one point she was going to get away. She was going to get away, and the next episode would be like chasing her down.
Okay,
Yeah.
I also considered that, but I didn't want to be that mean to you
Yeah, I want
I
to
would
get
have
back
been-
at them.
by making it a sequel because you failed.
Yeah, I wouldn't have felt like we failed. It would have been more like you did everything you could, but she's outsmarted you because she's the master thief.
Because she's the greatest.
Yeah.
Everyone
I
loves
was wondering, maybe this is like the season arc, and like every episode is you get a bit closer to her.
Absolutely considered it.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit before. It's like we have done that. Like we'll often do standalone rooms like this, and then some seasons we'll do 10 rooms or 5 rooms
like
connected
this year
with one
and
big story.
last year, I've created a remarkable number of rooms that have sequel potential. Like she could escape from jail again after this, and you got to do it all over again.
Team up with some previous villains.
Exactly.
Jimmy Ragoletto.
All sorts of things. I'm done with that guy. That's
We'll
not
bring
a last
Jimmy
season
back.
thing.
He's from season 1.
Yeah, that was before we had patrons.
That was season 1 when no one knew we existed. Good old Jimmy Ragoletto, named after a sauce bottle.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed listening. It's fun for me because I playtest these and they before the recording, so there's a lot of me kind of listening to you play and be like, oh, I wonder if they'll get this, and I wonder if the one that you absolutely smoked me on was there's 3 rectangles. They have a circle in one end, and the 3 massage tables are in a line, and they have like a little hole in one end. That's what a massage table looks like. And you were like, okay, yeah, 3 massage tables, 3 squares, that's fine. I looked at the massage tables, came in, opened the locker, and went, well, there's no way of knowing what these could possibly be.
Right.
It's a square with a circle. Is this one bath? Is this like the rectangle is the curtains, and that's the rightmost bath of the 2 baths that then I looked at the baths and like they are non-circular baths, and I went, all right, well, that's not going to help me. But I completely, it's funny the sorts of things that you can just be like, I could not get that at all. But at least I've tested them enough to go, I reckon that was just me being dumb. I think they'll get it. I think they'll see it and they'll be fine.
But then, same like looking at the open and closed puzzle, like
I would never
John
have got
looked
that.
at it and went, oh, that's open and closed and pertaining to the curtains. I wouldn't have gotten that part, but once he said that, I could figure it out. But you struggled so much on the
I would never have
shape
got
of
that.
it.
And
It was really weird. I had such a
Yeah.
blind spot for that.
I love that so much with escape rooms because we often do them in pairs as well. And I'd like to think we think pretty similarly in a lot of ways. There's a reason that we got married. And yet sometimes you just have to still be able to complement each other in those ways when it comes to who is seeing what in the puzzles.
Yeah.
And also sometimes you're just like, in the moment, your head is not in the right space for it. Like you've just solved one puzzle, and so you're still thinking about that, or your mind is still on, oh, what do we do with those bottles? And like the other person just has more computing power available at that moment, so they can
Just a
figure it out.
different angle on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've definitely had those when we have the guest game masters come on. Just like week 1, I think, this season, I just come out of it saying, I'm sorry, this was a bad week for me.
Yeah.
But then the next episode, I'm
you
going to
did
do
great.
great
You smashed
when
it.
that comes out.
It's in the past when we're releasing this.
Yeah.
Very far in the past in terms of recording. So,
But it's coming out in 2 weeks.
but it has, it's very.
Yeah.
We're in an odd time. But no, it was very good. I really liked the way you did it. You found those plum and cinnamon and things like that very quickly. Danny, that was something that we talked about in the playtest. Originally, like, if you just wanted plum, I thought we were going to do multiple different emotions attached, or... No, that was if you look for emotions, but without knowing...
Exactly. That was like if you had searched the shelf and said, oh, is there anything about sadness on the shelf? There would have been a bunch of
So if you'd
different
come at it the
ones.
other way around and found the emotions first, if you had, for example, sat and just tried to solve the poster and cracked it, if you had looked for hope, it would have been more than just pine that was hope related. There would have been banana, hopes and dreams, pine with hope rising.
So you'd still need
So you
to
still
sniff
need the
to find
braziers.
out.
You'd still need
If
to
there's
find
not,
the pine.
there's got to be a smell puzzle.
Yeah, smell puzzle was nice. It's interesting to think like, is smell an option to me in an audio medium? Am I allowed to ask what it sounds like, it smells like?
Yeah, I think it's kind of amazing that you can, because a good escape room for me always has different flavors of puzzle. You have like a maths puzzle maybe, or you have a physical challenge puzzle, or you have to crawl through a thing, or you have to, you have all sorts of types. And to be able to do that in a audio kind of storyteller medium is really cool, where you're like, all right, you hear some music and it sounds like this. You don't actually have to hear the music. You just have to get given the parts of the music that it is, or the audio that comes in the middle of the music and so on. And like, doing a smell puzzle when you don't actually have to smell it is really cool. You get that sense of this is a varied series of puzzles, even if you're not physically smelling it.
you still have to have the brainwave that tells you, I bet I got to sniff this.
Yeah.
But without the difficulty of having to identify smells, because people try to do that in escape rooms and it's hard.
Yeah, after like mint and coffee, everyone's like, that's all I can do. Mint, coffee, and other things.
I played one in Sydney years ago. I'm not sure if you did it. I think I might have done it with Pierce. It was called like there's a really good, I think, is it the Enigma Room? They all sound the same.
Oh,
it's in like central Sydney, and it's they used to have like 2 rooms. It was like the Island of Dr. Demento, and
that was Enigma Room.
Enigma Room, yeah. And so the first one we did,
R.I.P. No longer.
They sort of got sold, merged, a little bit deflated, but that location, I believe, isn't there anymore.
Yeah, they were already running that from Canberra.
Yeah.
So I think they ended up just doing stuff there.
We've had the owner on the show.
We've been on
season 2.
But the puzzle was you were like in like the break room of a evil villain. So you were like,
you were there. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember you had to sniff a bunch of different? That was the only smell one I can recall.
I remember smelling that one.
Remember that smell
really?
puzzle.
You have to
cut
sniff a bunch
mugs
of different
and stuff. They had like waxes.
Yeah, it's in the mugs,
in the bottoms of them, so you could smell like a coffee flavored thing in the bottom of the mug. And that was one of our biggest escape room failure stories, where later on in that room, you have to put something inside, like some holes drilled in a table to line it up correctly. But they also give you hats in that room as a fun costume.
Yes.
And we had our hats, and then we got in and we went, I don't want to wear these hats, and we all put them down on top of these holes.
No.
And then when we had the thing at the end, we were running up and down the room going, there's nowhere to put this. There's nowhere to put, like Batman from the 60s looking to get rid of a bomb. We were running around being like, there's nowhere to put this thing. And eventually we just had to lift our hats up. That was a waste of 10 minutes.
That's great. The second room that they did was one of my favourite kind of early escape rooms. Was the coma one
in Memoriam? I think it was called.
You're like in the different kind of memories of someone in a coma. That was really cool.
Yeah.
There's some good
really
stuff in
interesting idea.
Yeah, it was
good. I mean, Sydney has just some really banging escape rooms.
We punch quite heavily above our weight in terms of escape room designers.
Yeah, there was one, a more recent one that at the end has an effect that, like a physical effect that happens.
Oh my god! I bet we did this one.
Yeah,
is it like Dr. Popper's?
Pepper's Toy Room. It's amazing.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
so our friend Scott was just like, let's just do an escape room while we're in town.
Oh
and
yeah, that
we had no idea what it was.
That's beautiful. I love
the greatest ending of an escape room.
Yeah. Have you done any of the next level escape ones? Also, right in the city, they're at Wynyard sort of areas.
I don't think we have. No,
there are a lot. They tend to do a lot more sort of nerdy style ones. Like they've got a literature themed one. They've got a sci-fi one that's got like 100 different Easter eggs for different sci-fi related things. But we've done some voice acting for some of their rooms.
Oh, nice.
Which led to some very awkward situations where we had visiting friends, and the only rooms that we hadn't done were the ones that we were voice actors for. Like, I'm so sorry to have, like, you're visiting from out of town, and this seems really conceited, but would you like to come to this escape room? Because we don't know, this is the only one that we haven't played. Please, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, look, thank you again so much for coming on and playing through the room. It was a joy to listen to you solve all these puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
We had a great time.
I love how much you hated the characters.
It's a part.
I really can't express that enough. I love that. That made me so happy.
Good.
Yeah,
forget the puzzles.
So
I don't care about them. I care about stories. I care about hating characters.
Exactly.
Well, I just think like having a good motivation for an escape room is really nice. And like how else do you do that really quickly than having a heal?
It's my favorite thing. We at the start of last year we did a presentation on escape room story design, and that was one of my big things.
Give him a real bad guy. But no, thank you so much. If people wanted to check out more of what you're doing, is there anywhere you'd like to send them? Anywhere that you think, hey, go and check this out?
I think historymysteries.club, if you would like to check out our escape room games. They all come in the post. There are 2 currently available, the Egyptian Enigma and the Medieval Mishap. And
they are available internationally.
Internationally.
As well.
We've set it all up. The distribution is all working now. And then the Roman Rivalry is our new game, which isn't out yet. You might still be able to back it on Kickstarter. I don't know if we've got late pledging available, but it will be available soonish. That's probably the most kind of relevant thing for your audience.
The other place you can find us is John's Substack, which we kind of all of our events and various things, games, news come on there. So it's substack.com/John Gracie, or just type in johngracie.sexy. You can probably find that
It's
as
my
well.
website.
It's his website.
You can
It's
type
also
in johngracie.com, but it will auto change to .sexy.
.sexy.
And I think the autocorrection makes it feel a little weirder.
Yeah. Did you mean John Gracie?
Don't worry, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, because we do games and live events around things like Blood on the Clock Tower, which I'm sure many of your audience members either love or don't love yet, but will when they discover it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been an episode yet this year where I haven't ended an episode by, not just of this show, by badgering people to join our Discord and join the scheduled games that we have.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of Blood on the Clock Tower events in the UK.
Yeah.
So,
and you can also, if you follow me on Twitter at Jon Gracie, I will also post about stuff there. So those are the best places.
Or Twitch.
Brilliant.
We're also...
That's true. We do stream a lot on Twitch. If you want us to catch us generally playing spooky games on Twitch.
Oh, that
or
autopsy game playthrough was hilarious.
Oh my God. The Mortuary Assistant. Hideous. Truly hideous. I hate it.
Yep.
Wonderful.
That's why I'm happy to watch you do it.
Yeah. If you don't want to play the spooky game, you can watch other people play and get spooked for you.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Danny, thank you for writing the room.
Thank you for helping, editing, all of the production and stuff, and voicing.
Yes, true. Oh, and I got to write some music as well. And then thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to support the show, tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell anybody you see as you pass by on the streets. Grab them by the detachable lapels and say, listen, listen to Escape This Podcast. Or you can support us on Patreon. We don't run ads on the show. All the money comes through Patreon. So anybody who signs up for any level can appear as an NPC in one of these rooms.
So once again, thank you,
as
Emily Hurley and Kaylee. Oh, yeah.
You can get manhandled by a guest. There's also a weekly bonus audio for the $5 donors. There's monthly videos for $10 donors. There's monthly trivia. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff. So go and check it out. The support there is appreciated hugely. It's what keeps the lights on and the microphones recording. So thank you, everybody. And that's it. That's the end of the episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye.